I feel like there's this story that people tell themselves a lot, which is they want to do the big impressive thing. Like you want to do, you want to run a marathon, you want to do a week-long silent meditation retreat, you want to, write the best-selling book, whatever. And I think about it as this balance between consistency and intensity. So intensity is a good story. I ran the marathon, I did the silent meditation retreat. Consistency actually makes progress. I meditate for 5 minutes each day. I run, 3 days a week or whatever. And so people need consistency more than they need intensity. And in fact, what I would say is consistency enlarges ability. Consistency enlarges ability. It's the act of showing up consistently that builds your capacity to do something, that fosters the skill development and growth that you want. And so showing up, even if it's just in a small way, is the way that you actually create the opportunity to do something more intense or more impressive down the line. I also think that there's this deep, important lesson that comes from appreciating consistency and what's required there. Consistency is often adaptability. It's flexibility. There's this story about like mental toughness and being disciplined, like being a disciplined person that we tell ourselves that something like, I grind to make sure this happens. I will, make it happen no matter what the circumstances. Like that, the mentally tough person pushes through regardless of what they face. But I think that in real life, a lot of the time, consistency is actually being flexible. It's being adaptable. If you don't have enough energy, you do the easy version. If you don't have enough time, you do the short version. You find a way to not throw up a 0 that day. You find a way to show up even if it's not ideal. And that is actually being very mentally tough. And so the adaptable person is the one that, what's that line? It's when the storm came, the oak tree fought it and broke, but the willow bent and survived. And so it's like you need a way to manage the storms of life and bend with them while still showing up. If you purely fight against it, you'd think that being tough, that being mentally tough is like, I'm going to make sure this happens. But it actually makes you somewhat brittle. You need it to be a certain way. And when you need life to be a certain way to succeed, you become held hostage by the situation. You need it to be just like that. But if in fact you can be adaptable and you can be flexible, now you are actually more resilient. And so I think there's a balance to strike there, and it feeds into the consistency that will ultimately enlarge your ability. I see this a lot with top performers in many different domains, which is it's not that they don't make mistakes or they don't slip up. Everybody slips up, but they tend to get back on track quickly. And so really what you need is not a perfect plan or like a system that never fails. What you need is a good plan for getting back on track. If the reclaiming of a habit is fast, the breaking of it doesn't matter that much. You get to the end of the year and it's just like a little blip on the radar, but you need a good plan for getting back on track quickly. So I think that some of the balance, some of the strategy is actually knowing what to do when you fail. Yeah. And if you figure that out, then you're in a good position to bounce back quickly. So I have this little theory that the secret to winning is actually learning how to lose. So the secret to winning is knowing how to lose. And what I mean is that it's knowing how to handle a loss. It's knowing how to rebound and bounce back from that. I think that I learned it through sports. I don't think sports is the only way you can learn it. I think probably anything that you do with some level of public visibility could teach you, musical performance or being in a fitness group with friends, or there's lots of ways you can do it, speaking publicly. But one thing about sports is that you're going to fail in front of the rest of the team. The ball will come to you, you'll make the strikeout to end the game, or you go into the gym and work out with the team and you miss a lift or you're the weak one or whatever. That doesn't feel good. But then you realize life moves on. You got to go on to the next set and you have to show up again the next time. And each little instance where there's a little failure like that is practice for you to bounce back again. And I think it's important to have something in life that's like that, that's teaching you how to respond to failure, that you're learning how to lose and how to bounce back from a loss so that you can ultimately win. I got to the point at the end of my career, my senior year, where I was basically like, listen, I don't want to lose, but if we're going to lose, I'd rather it be me. I'd rather be out there. Put it on my shoulders. I can take the loss. I can handle it. I'll give you everything I have to try to get us to win, but if we lose, I'll be able to bounce back from it. And I think that ended up serving me really well in my entrepreneurial career, because stuff is never going to go your way all the time. And you need to be able to be willing to try things and be willing to sometimes look foolish because of them, and still find a way to show back up the next time.
All right, pause. Because if you heard that and your brain went, yeah, but I still want the big win, you are exactly who this video is for. In the next few minutes, I am going to break down what James just said in plain language. Then, we are going to turn it into a simple system you can actually use. Not a hype speech, not a perfect routine, a way to stack progress even on messy weeks. Here is the truth most people do not want to hear. Big wins are a great story. They look good on social media. They give you a rush. They make you feel like a new person overnight. But big wins are not what changes your life. Big wins are usually the highlight at the end of a long chain of boring reps. Most people chase intensity because intensity feels like proof. You go all in for a week and you can tell yourself you are serious. You do a hard workout, a strict diet, a deep work sprint, a full reset day. Then life hits. You miss one day. Your streak breaks. You feel like you failed. Then you stop. That cycle shows up everywhere. The gym is the obvious one. You start strong in January, go 5 days a week, and announce you finally cracked it. Then work gets busy, you travel, you get sick, or you sleep badly for a few nights. You miss a day, then 2, then you disappear for a month. It happens with studying too. You cram for hours the night before, swear you will do better next time. Then you do nothing for a week because the task feels heavy again. It happens with saving money. You do a strict month, then one rough week comes and you buy comfort. It happens with content. You post every day for 10 days, get tired, then ghost for 3 weeks. James is telling you that the real game is not intensity. The real game is showing up in a way you can repeat. That is what builds skill. That is what builds confidence. That is what builds results. And he makes a point that changes how you see mental toughness. People think toughness means pushing hard, no matter what. But in real life, toughness is staying consistent when the week is not ideal. When you are tired, you do the easier version. When time is short, you do the short version. You do not throw up a 0. Because zeros are dangerous. A 0 feels like relief in the moment, but it teaches your brain that skipping is normal. Then skipping becomes a habit. Then the habit becomes your identity. So the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to be the kind of person who returns quickly. That is why top performers look calm. They slip too. They just recover fast. In the rest of this video, we will do 3 things. First, we will show why small reps expand your ability. Second, we will build your non-zero plan so storms do not knock you out. Third, we will install a rebound plan for when you fall off, because that is the real secret to winning. When James says consistency enlarges ability, he is describing something you have seen in real life, even if you never named it. The person who is best at something is rarely the one who did one heroic burst. It is usually the one who showed up many times, even when the sessions looked unimpressive. Think about learning a language. One intense weekend of studying feels productive, but it does not stick. 10 minutes a day for 3 months changes your brain. You start recognizing patterns. You stop translating in your head. Your ability grows because you keep touching the skill. Fitness is the same. One brutal workout can make you sore for days. It does not make you fit. 3 workouts a week builds your heart, your joints, your form, your recovery. After a month, the same workout feels lighter. That is ability enlarging. Writing works like that too. People say they want to write a book, then they wait for a perfect day. But a book is not written by waiting. It is written by showing up when the page feels blank. 200 words a day turns into a draft. Then a draft turns into a book. The big thing comes from the small thing done often. Consistency also builds identity. This is the part most people miss. When you do something repeatedly, you stop depending on motivation. You start believing, I am the type of person who does this. That identity makes the next rep easier. Here is a simple example. 2 people want to run. Person A runs once a week but runs hard, then takes long breaks. Person B runs 3 days a week even if it is slow. After 8 weeks, person B can run farther with less strain. Person B also feels like a runner. That feeling is not magic. It is proof built over time. Now ask yourself where you have been intense but not steady. Maybe you do deep work once a month for 6 hours, then spend the rest of the month scattered. Maybe you eat clean for 2 weeks, then crash. Maybe you clean your room in a panic, then let it pile up again. Intensity makes you feel like you are changing. Consistency is what actually changes you. So, how do you start? You choose a rep that is small enough to repeat and meaningful enough to count. If your goal is reading, the rep can be 5 pages a day. If it is learning a skill, the rep can be 15 minutes a day. If it is content, the rep can be 1 script session per week and 1 filming session per week. If it is saving money, the rep can be an automatic transfer plus 1 day a week you check spending. Small does not mean weak. Small means repeatable. Repeatable means you get more reps. More reps means more ability. More ability means you can handle bigger wins later without burning out. In the next part, we will talk about the hardest skill of all, staying consistent when life is not smooth. That is where adaptability comes in. Most people do not quit because they hate their goal. They quit because their plan is fragile. It only works when life is calm. Plenty of sleep, no drama, no surprise meetings, no travel, no sick days, no mood swings. But real life is not a straight line. Real life is storms. And if your routine cannot bend, it will snap. James makes a powerful point. Consistency is often flexibility. That means you keep showing up even when you cannot do the ideal version. You do the easier version. You do the short version. You protect the chain. You refuse to throw up a zero. Here is what a brittle plan looks like. You say, I will work out every day. I will eat clean every day. I will write for 2 hours every day. I will study 3 hours every day. It feels strong at first. Then one busy week hits. You miss 1 day. Your brain says the streak is broken, so the whole thing is ruined. Then the shame voice shows up. Since I missed, I might as well stop. A small miss turns into a long break. An adaptable plan looks different. You have 2 modes, ideal and minimum. Ideal is what you do when energy and time are normal. Minimum is what you do when the day is messy. Minimum is not there to impress you. Minimum is there to keep you connected to the habit. Examples. If your ideal workout is 40 minutes, your minimum can be 10 minutes of walking or a short home routine. If your ideal writing session is 1,000 words, your minimum can be 200 words or 5 minutes at the keyboard. If your ideal study session is a full chapter, your minimum can be reviewing notes for 5 minutes. If your ideal business effort is 10 outreach messages, your minimum can be 1 message. The key idea is this: you still show up. You still keep the identity alive. You do not need to win the day. You just need to avoid a zero. This is real mental toughness, not forcing a perfect routine. Real toughness is returning when the day did not go your way. It is staying consistent when you feel tired and your brain wants comfort. It is doing the small version without calling yourself weak. To make this practical, you can use a simple rule: never miss twice. If you miss your ideal plan, your next day is a minimum day by default. No debate. That rule prevents a slip from becoming a slide. Another helpful rule is to shrink the start. Many people fail because the first step feels heavy. So make the first step tiny. Put shoes on. Open the document, sit at the desk, start the timer. Once you begin, momentum often carries you. Also design your environment to support the minimum version. Keep workout clothes ready. Keep your document open. Keep your book visible. Remove friction so the short version is easy. When life is stressful, you do not rise to your goals. You fall to your defaults. Make your default helpful. Adaptability also protects your confidence. If your only success is perfect days, you will feel like a failure often. But if success includes flexible days, you stay proud more often. That pride matters. Pride keeps you showing up. In the next part, we will talk about what happens when you fall off anyway. Because it will happen. Winners are not perfect. Winners know how to return fast. Let us be honest, you are going to mess up. You will miss days. You will have weeks where you disappear. You will break your streak. You will get busy, stressed, sick, distracted, or discouraged. The difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck is not that one group never fails. It is that one group has a plan for what to do after they fail. James says top performers get back on track quickly. That is the whole game. The slip is normal. Staying slipped is the problem. Think about someone who goes to the gym. They do well for a month, then travel happens. Then they miss a few sessions and suddenly 2 months are gone. Or someone tries to eat better. They do great until a stressful week hits, then they eat comfort food, then they say I ruined it, then they stop trying. Or someone builds a YouTube routine. They post consistently, then one upload performs badly. They feel embarrassed, and they disappear. In each case, the real failure is not the miss. The real failure is the story after the miss. The story sounds like this. I fell off, so I guess I am not that person. That story kills the habit. A rebound plan replaces that story with a script. It tells you exactly what to do the day after you fall off, before your brain turns it into a bigger problem. Here is the simplest rebound plan you can use. First, name the slip without drama. Do not attack yourself. Say, I missed. That is it. No labels, no insults, just facts. Second, restart with a small rep, not a big punishment. People often try to make up for the miss with an extreme comeback. 2-hour workout, no carbs for a week, 10 hours of work. That is revenge, not recovery. Recovery is one clean rep. Third, schedule the next rep immediately. The goal is to remove uncertainty. Put it on your calendar. Set a time. Make it real. Fourth, remove one friction point that caused the slip. If you fell off because your evenings are chaotic, move the habit to mornings. If you fell off because your phone stole your time, charge it outside the room. If you fell off because the task was too big, lower the minimum. James mentioned a visual reminder, like changing the phone display to red. The point is self-awareness. You need a signal that tells you we are in reset mode. It can be simple. A sticky note that says reset. A calendar alert that says minimum rep today. Shoes placed by the door. Your journal left open on the desk. Anything that makes returning easier than avoiding. Sports teaches this well. You miss a shot in front of everyone. It feels bad. Then the game continues. You take the next shot. That is the skill, not never missing, but recovering fast without collapsing. So if you want consistency, stop aiming for a plan that never fails. Aim for a plan that recovers fast. That is how a slip becomes a blip instead of a breakdown. In the last part, I will give you 3 steps you can do today to build your non-zero plan, your flexibility rule, and your rebound script. Now we turn this into a simple system you can use today. No speeches, no perfect routine, just a plan that works when the week is normal and when the week is messy. These 3 steps match the message. Stop chasing big wins and start building consistency. Step 1. Choose your non-zero version. Pick one habit that matters most right now. Only one. Fitness, writing, studying, business, reading, content, anything. Now define the minimum version you will do even on a bad day. Make it small but real. Examples: 10 minutes of walking, 5 push-ups, 200 words, 5 pages, 1 outreach message, 1 short practice drill. If your minimum is too hard, you will skip it. If your minimum is too easy, it will not feel like a win. Find the smallest action that still feels like showing up. Write it down. Put it where you will see it. A note on your phone, a card on your desk, a reminder on your calendar. The goal is to remove negotiation. Step 2. Build an adaptability rule. Your adaptability rule tells you what to do when life gets in the way. A simple rule is, ideal on good days, minimum on rough days, zero never. Make it specific to your habit. If you planned a full workout but you are tired, you do 10 minutes. If you planned a long writing session but time is short, you write for 5 minutes. If you plan to study but your brain is fried, you review notes for 5 minutes. If you planned outreach but you feel fear, you send 1 message anyway. This rule matters because it protects identity. You stay the kind of person who shows up even when conditions are not perfect. Step 3. Write your rebound plan in 3 lines. Line 1. What usually knocks me off? Late nights, stress, travel, social media, boredom, overeating, too much work. Line 2. My reset move. 1 minimum rep plus 1 setup action. Example: 10-minute walk plus clothes ready for tomorrow. 200 words plus outline the next paragraph. 1 outreach message plus write a simple template for the next one. Line 3. My reset signal. A visible cue that reminds you to return. A sticky note that says reset. A calendar alert that says minimum rep. Shoes by the door. Phone moved out of the bedroom. Pick one signal that you will actually see. Then do this system for 7 days. Not forever, 7 days. You are proving to yourself that you can show up without needing a perfect week. That is how progress becomes real. Minimum rep, flexible rule, fast rebound. Big wins come later as a result, not as a strategy.